Tonight, Mayor, if you will, I'd like to ask the Reverend Paul Silver to come forward and lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Our Father, our God, we thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for this time of business of the city. We ask you to look upon each and every individual as they make decisions for the city. Let them not make it for themselves or for self-gain, but for the knowledge and the well-being of our community. We ask these and all other blessed. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Dunn. Mr. Rick McCarty. Ms. K. Cluck, here. Mr. John Jones.
Present.
Mr. Craig Hill.
Yeah.
Mayor Jackie Johnson.
Do we have anyone present this evening that would like to make public comment? That would like to address the city council? Hearing none. Item number 2, approve the minutes of November meeting.
So moved.
Properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, you have that same right. Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Alcohol license, 2014.
So, I have a copy of the alcohol license for next year for approval. Alcohol year.
What is your pleasure?
Chief, everybody's in good standing?
Yes.
I'll make a motion. The listed companies, have their alcohol license renewed for 2014, barring that there is no reason legally for them not to.
It's been properly moved.
I'll second.
And second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Resolution number 13-1201, budget amendment, emergency funding for City Hall. Amanda.
Please forgive my voice. We budgeted $5,000 in the budget for the painting of City Hall, just a facelift. We needed a fresh coat of paint on the inside, and to repair 2 small areas on walls that needed repair. One being in the clerk's office, one being where we keep our computer equipment. $5,000 should have well covered that with no problem. However, when we, one of the first steps was to work in the clerk's office and repair that spot, he ran into a mold issue. You all know what happens with mold and that we have to get to those. As of right now, we have spent $7,000 that we did not plan to spend. 6,500 of that has been because of the mold alone. Once they got in to fix the small space, ended up having to do an entire wall, ceiling, and it cost us a lot more in both labor and supplies than we, but it's mold. We had. So we are asking for that to be added to that capital outlay because it was not something that was optional. And that's the gist.
How much is it?
How much?
How much was the additional one?
$7,000. Now, you'll see on your financial report, let me clarify something. On your financial report, it gives you year-to-date costs as of November 30th. However, since then, we do have a $2,400 bill that has been paid in the month of December for supplies. As of right now, we've spent $3,867 on supplies and $3,316 on labor. Now, that labor is through the work release program, the detention center at $9 an hour. So we're not overspending on labor. And this figure of $7,000, no paint is included in that because that was part of what we initially had to do. That $7,000 is extra. It's actually about $6,700 extra.
So the whole thing is gonna cost us $12,000 plus the cost. The painting,
A little less.
a little less than $12,000. Can you assure us that this is all that you're gonna need? How much more, how close are you to being finished, and what percentage is?
I think they're very close to being finished.
You're
Of
about 85%.
course, when we started only needed to be painted. So unless we run into something else, we should sure be able to finish, but those are costs associated directly with the monthly. And Millview now.
Is this depending on change order? Or do you have a change order? Do you have a contract?
Clarify, I'm not really. Change order, maybe we got a contract and it's specified, say, this amount, like $2,000. Okay. You want to change any item on that add to, that, and whatever item is add to, that's got to do with that.
Usually the change order is also listed or specified in that amount of how much it is. I mean, how much is actually being spent for what item, the itemized. That itemization then helps you understand exactly what it's being spent on. For the additional $7,000, instead of just being thrown into the wind, you just know exactly what.
Well, I can break it down somewhat for you. The $3,800 for supplies, $3,867.58 is for supplies. Labor year-to-date is $3,316.50. Now, like I said, in these figures, no paint is included. These are just the additional what we have spent from replacing the sheetrock on the walls, the ceiling, floors, had mildew. I've not included the paint in that because the paint was part of the original cost.
So this is gonna go up? It's gonna be more than, we're gonna need more than 7,000?
We need the 7,000 plus the 5 you already approved. And we should come in slightly under that.
But you were mentioning the 3,800 and the 30, you gave some figures and you don't have to repeat them again, but that was pretty darn close to $7,000.
Right.
and you haven't included paint yet. So, are we gonna go over that?
Over the 7,000 in the total project, yes. On, with the paint and the labor for the painting.
Yeah.
What is in the phone?
The figures I gave you were just related to the mud issue.
The painting, this label is already in the budget.
Right. In the 5,000.
So 7,000 is gonna be it. 12,000 is the cap for the whole project.
Correct. But we expect to come in under.
Is that standard procedure not to have a change order? I mean, I'm asking, but
Normally,
it's
you
the
don't
part
have
of
a change order unless you have a signed contract. And this hall's been by the hour, by the labor.
Okay, okay.
And believe me, if you got a contract with this job out, it's probably just about 45. See how much you have to pay.
Right, right.
I did do, update down in the financial report, you'll notice, under, the capital outlay for City Hall, you can see the hours that it's been put in. And I wanted to clarify, because I had a question, about that. They have, it's been a 7-day work week. Somebody would ask how many hours a day they've been working, and if they are, that is 7 to 7 days, not 5. But they've been running anywhere from 65 to 83 hours a week.
Well, all that they have to do after hours, after girls.
Yeah.
Well, they actually move everything out of office and do it like on weekends or night and move back and forth work. So that's one reason why overtime is taking place.
I move we adopt resolution 13-1201.
It's properly moved, I'll take second. And second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Withrow Rubber Recycling Contract Renewal.
And Mayor, members of the City Council, we have been working with the principal owners of Withrow Rubber Recycling to renew their contract. Their original contract expired this month, December of 2013. And at the present time, we have reached an agreement with them that a renewal of the existing contract would be presented to the City Council tonight with specified changes. These changes, and I'm going to apologize, I did not get to do it because they've got my office all tore apart to make the changes in it. But it would be a release for 4 years instead of 5 years. It will be a 4-year renewal added onto that. We have 2 5 years in the original agreement, and Attorney Singer has been working with us on that. So all we're actually doing of the existing 2 5-year options, then we're exercising one at this time. It's passed by the City Council, but instead of 5 years, it'll be 4 years. And then after that, you will have an additional 4-year contract option left on that, which after that point in time, we'll have to start all over to do a new contract. To let you know that like I said, the agreement with the principal owners has agreed on this, and I see no problem with it. Attorney Singer has no problem with it. This has nothing to do with equipment that has been discussed, okay? That is going to be a separate document that will have to be addressed, and we're working, Attorney Singer, the mayor and myself have been working on that so that we can bring something to the table that would be acceptable to the City Council. But I would ask that you and as far as I'm concerned, the contract itself, as changed, will be an acceptable deal, for the Wentworth Pine Road.
I make a motion, we accept the lease.
It has been properly moved that we accept.
I'll second that.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record reflect that unanimously approved. Item number 8. Personnel issues, letters. The mayor.
Excuse me, are we skipping on our agenda?
Excuse me?
Are we skipping on the agenda?
I'm controlling my agenda the way I see fit.
Item number 7.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. Rick had proposed a changes, and he's not here, and I think that I'm in favor of it. I have no problem with it, let me say that. But,
He wants to wait till
Huh?
he wants to wait till the committee head. He wants to wait and leave the community in committee.
okay, that was my purpose.
But since we're listed on the agenda, and I'm on the committee, I have some things I'd like to say, please. First of all,
Do you have that change that he was introducing?
he's not here to bring that up.
No, right.
But Jack Hammond is listed, so we ought to be able to do
For changes, and the individual is not here to represent himself, so we're going to put that off and put it back on the agenda when he's here to present it.
We have some other changes that we want to make too, Mayor.
Excuse me?
We have some other changes that we'd like to make also, too. Not only do we, if we need to make it to the agenda, we're still talking about the contract of the community center. And there's some other changes that others would like to interject, or at least put before the committee for consideration.
Well, what I would appreciate in that case is that we take it to the committee, and any changes that all changes that have to go, that the committee come back with the next meeting and introduce it, and present it.
But I'm on the committee. He's on the committee, and she's on the committee.
We have a quorum.
Are you familiar with what has been discussed?
But I should be able
Has been discussed with you, Sarah?
tell them what I'm thinking so they can think about it.
Excuse me?
I should be able to tell them what I'm thinking so they can think about it.
Well, let's do it in the committee meeting and represent it.
Will the committee, will it be only the committee that attends the committee meeting, or will there be other guests invited as allegedly happened at the last committee meeting?
You can be admitted, anyone can be there, except there will be only 2 council members there.
Okay, so it'll be
But,
a committee meeting, an open committee meeting, I guess?
All committee meetings are open.
Okay.
Then why wasn't the open meeting law followed when this meeting was given? There was no notice that this meeting was being held and that it was open to the public. And then that is the law that we follow on the open meeting law.
It's very possible that everything was hung up with traditions. There has been no open law applied to committees in previous years administration. Especially that when committees met, you know, they met without a notification to the paper or to the council or any other avenues of a meeting.
So that's not necessarily that's not an open meeting. If you call it an open meeting, you have to follow the open meeting law.
Well, that's it is required.
That's what I'm saying. If they're going to do it, so then you must follow the law, as it says, according to the LMA bylaw.
Why are you bringing this up? Is something that you want to change or something that's what?
No, I said there were some things that I wanted to recommend.
Okay.
And you ignored those. You said
We'll make
you had
sure
to
we
have
don't-
one person here, but, you got members of the committee that are present.
What do you mean, one person here?
Rick, you mentioned that Rick had to be here in order
No,
for.
I meant that he had,
Yeah,
he had offered some changes, not through the committee, that was correct changes
I'm
that he
saying,
made.
and those,
As an individual, like everyone has an opportunity to make changes, to make bring changes to the, meeting.
and that's what we wanted to do, we wanted to make some recommendations for the committee to take under consideration. You know, you saying that we can't do that?
No, I'm saying, if that's what you want to do, I have no objection to you make a recommendation to bring to the committee.
Then we may
to
do
the
so.
meeting.
Then you saying we may do so.
Excuse me?
I said, then you saying we may do so.
That you make recommendations to bring to the committee.
If you bring back.
Yes, you may do that.
And bring back to the council,
Yes.
okay? But now, the council will have the last say so over those changes that will be made.
If any changes are made, the council will have to let me know.
It didn't happen previously. So if you do, and I'm going to add, I'd like to hear those changes that you have and what you propose.
Okay, I am proposing that in order to control the more better control what happens at the community center, that we look at closing our community center at 11 o'clock p.m. for all activities,
Let me say this.
and to stop all BYOB.
Excuse me, Kate.
parties.
Let me say this. Let's make those recommendations in writing rather than voicing them and then present them, to the committee in writing. Okay.
Mayor, let's take a break.
Let's maintain order. One person, who speaks.
No problem.
One they can recognize.
Yes.
Okay. But by all means, feel free to make your recommendations and put them in writing.
Those recommendations have been made in writing, and they were ignored. That's why we're bringing them back to the committee at this particular time, or bring them back.
Those recommendations were made in writing
Yes, sir. They made it,
and that you're presenting to the committee,
that we're recommending once again,
to the committee.
even to the committee, yes, to the committee.
Right.
To the committee. Those recommendations were made.
Okay,
and recommended
Mr.
to the
Goodwin, that's not gonna help anything but pointing out what has happened. We just made a statement that make the recommendations and we will move forward with it. Let's, for the sake of time, if you have a recommendation committee, please by all means, make it in writing so that we can move on.
And those recommendations have been made in writing.
It's been made in writing and presented to the committee.
And presented to the committee.
And the committee, are you familiar with?
Those recommendations were given to you, Stan, at the time that the committee met. And those recommendations were ignored.
The last meeting.
Okay, make a recommendation, and then we'll put them in writing to the committee, with Kate on the committee, Alice, who's all on the committee now?
Me,
Rick.
Rex, and Kate.
Okay. And let's go ahead and make them change, and then we'll put them in writing.
All right, my recommendation is that the contract be amended, that all events that are held at the community center end at 11 o'clock p.m., and that all cleanup be done and building completely empty by midnight, and that no bring your own booze events will be permitted.
Anything else?
That's it.
Anything from you, Mr. John?
Yes, I have some. That's what they're gonna have,
Let's have order.
we'd like to recommend that the committee take under consideration a monitoring system. Once that we've asked this once before, and suggested that it was a good idea, but it was never moved upon nor acted upon. That monitoring system would take into consideration the halls, the entrance, or the exit, the main auditorium, and also science headsets that would be allowed to, one to the mayor, one to the police chief, one to the city superintendent, and the other two would go to whomever is recommended by the mayor. That's one thing that we want, we recommend that this building has, and it's been said before, at another meeting that we've had previously. We also ask that the times do be changed. And if we take into consideration of the time changes, that we also take into consideration the possible addition of an hour per $100. Now, for some reason, we have not seen that extra fund. Those extra funds of $100 for that extra hour, we have not seen. We ask that it be produced, that it be clearly shown to us, and that we see it. In addition to that, we find that that there has not been any reconciliation of those funds. The last meeting that you had, which Kate attended, in the meeting, or in the items that's on the contract itself, next to the last one, it mentions that they had an opportunity, or they did have the opportunity to look out.
Are these recommendations that you're making?
Yes, sir, these are recommendations.
Okay, because you made one recommendation about the camera, and with the camera, you made it easy to the council, and we just simply have not had an opportunity to purchase that amount. The community center has not been provided with a budget as of yet to go out and purchase some of the things that the committee had recommended.
And we didn't know that, it's not brought to our...
Well, you get budget.
Yeah, but you brought the, there are things that have been recommended in the budget that you utilize and did not bring to the attention of the council. So, if that was the case, then we're asking them.
Okay, let's
No, Mayor, this is the city council, meeting. I understand that this is the city council meeting. I understand that you're in charge, and if you will, allow me the opportunity in our meeting to discuss these items that are concerns of our people and in reference to the council's authority. You have your authority and we have ours.
Okay.
And all we're asking is that you
I have deviated off of the agenda, but anyway, have recommendations. Please make your recommendations. This is what I have.
With the recommendations that we just made.
Have you have more recommendations?
Yeah, we have more recommendations. We would like to hear it. That's the problem.
It's not whether I'd like to hear them. If you have recommendations, I've already authorized it.
Another thing that we must consider also is the fact that children under the age of 18 must follow the city curfew. We're having parties, or they're asking to have parties beyond the 11 o'clock hour. This needs to be put on the contract, and it needs to be taken under consideration, because still the curfew kids, once those kids walk outside of here, they're under that contract, under that curfew, and if they're walking home from this facility, then they could either be picked up, or could be picked up, or even should be picked up if the police officers are doing what they're supposed to do. Then they'll pick them up and hold them over until their parents get here. So we want to make sure that they follow the curfew. We do the same thing when they have basketball games. I think they give them a little extra time to walk home. But in the case of a party, and they're confined, and they can stay in this building.
Okay, Mr. McCarthy is here.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Mr. McCarthy, we're discussing your item on the agenda. And rather than go through a lot of areas that we really have not had on the agenda, would you please continue on with the items that you have to put on the agenda?
Well, the items that we had on the agenda, there was a lot of issues that went on, especially one of the issues that we had a couple of weeks ago. Yes, one of the major things we want to change was...
Mr. McCarthy, in all fairness, and Mr. Dumas, I was rude, and I apologize for interrupting you while you were in speech. Would you please continue?
I said, I accept your apology. I think you got who we want to hear. So I'll yield to that. One of the items we wanted to meet was the community center committee, and I had some suggestions that I wanted to bring forward to the committee. One of the suggestions was on the teenagers. One of the teenagers is already doing now. Everything that we do with teenagers, also with wedding receptions, also with anniversary parties and all those, and baby showers, all those deals have to be invitation only. I mean, there would be no ticket sales, one of the recommendations that I was recommending. The other was, the only ones who could sell tickets were those organizations that were non-profit. Because I researched a lot of issues, over 50 community centers across the country, and most of all up in there, the only people that could sell tickets for a fundraiser, those were non-profit. In order to do that, they had to submit their 501c, had to submit that, and they were allowed to sell tickets on the premises. And they had to have also supervision with the officers. They had to go from 2 officers up to as many as 3. One of the recommendations we looked at with teenagers automatically, that was 3 officers, because again, that could be an issue. But it was also for community issues. If we had a situation with the high school, let's say the high school drill team wanted to have a fundraiser, wanted to have a dance, and they wanted to have the high school being a non-profit organization, they could do it here as a fundraiser because of going to the high school status. All the other issues right there, the only people that could sell tickets, because one of the biggest stickler was you could not do anything here as to make a profit. And what that was going to do was stop those issues. They couldn't sell tickets. If they advertised anything, they would automatically push them out. So anything you have from a birthday party, from an anniversary party, all that had to be invitation only. And you have to give invitation. There's not no advertisement, no ticket sales. And that was one of the issues that I was pushed. I know we did have some issues from the last one that just went on, and you did not want to see because that's not what it was constructed for. Again, for the citizens of the community, but again, some of them you have someone nice to go and host something, they want to host something, it's not for an individual property. And that was the recommendation I was going to bring to the community.
You've heard recommendations?
I've heard those, I've heard those recommendations, and I also heard you commit to us that the committee would listen to other recommendations. My question to you is the committee just going to listen to what Mr. McCarthy has said, or are they going to take into consideration what Ms. Cupp has in mind, Mr. Simmons has in mind, and what I have? Because there are a lot of things that might need to be looked at. And if it's just going to be those few items that we were waiting for Rex to get here to tell us his items, it's okay for him to speak about his concerns. But for the others, it was a struggle to allow them to. So I want to know, is that committee, the committee, 1, 2, 3, 4, going to consider the individual district's concerns about this community center and any changes that these individual districts may have?
Mr. Fields, I thank you for your concern. And at this time, I think that it's only fair that we recognize that Mr. McCarthy has came forward and gotten on the agenda for this particular item. So are we saying that what are we going to do tonight? We're going to go by the agenda tonight, and the agenda says that the action that we take will be on Mr. McCarthy. The other action that we take, I have not finished, Mr. All right, please don't interrupt me again. The other action that we take is that Mr. Dumas made a recommendation that we were in the process of that recommendation when Mr. McCarthy came in. So we would take the recommendation, or it's totally in your hands, in your ballpark, whether or not to accept, Mr. McCarthy's item, or you could carry it forward and put it with the committee's recommendations and add those to the recommendations that you are desiring to make, with those. And then bring it back as a whole, and we can act on his recommendations tonight. It's totally up to the council as to how they would like to do it. Yes.
Just for clarification, Mr. McCarthy's name is not on this agenda, so it was open for the council to discuss.
Mr. McCarthy is the one that introduced these.
Nevertheless.
And spoke with me about it.
What I mainly wanted to do all mine was this recommendation. I want to have a committee meeting. We weren't able to do that, to bring forward, because again, it was just recommendations. But again, things guys will be forever changing with this. So we're going to be probably forever adjusting things with this. That don't mean that anything right now is in stone. What was right yesterday may be wrong tomorrow. Or what was the problem today may be a new problem tomorrow. Or may not be a problem. But again, that's some things that need to be fixed. And again, we're still young in this right here. There's some things we looked at as it's going on because we never thought we would have such problems like that. So those are the recommendations. I get a chance to have my copies with them, but if we're going to look for the council report of the committee, we're going to talk on them, and I will introduce them. And I thought that would remedy some issues. That would remedy scratch some issues out that we were having. I just those issues. And how I did mine was I researched those other communities across the country, Georgia, North Carolina, also in Missouri. And I was looking at all of them, and my big thing was, really, can you make a profit for a profit gain? And all of them said no. And this was the remedy what they did. The only ones that could come in here and sell anything was non-profit. That committed by what we do. That was the only one who never be still the Chamber of Commerce. That would be the Black Achievers, whoever, or any interest group. If they was non-profit, they were doing it for a fundraiser because that was going to still impact your community. And also we had one of the other things we had, we said no event that would be allowed here. We had any event that we thought was going to cause death, going to be detrimental to the community, we could not have it. They could not get it. Or anything that was going to damage the building. If we knew that was going to damage the building, cause harm to anybody in it. But I had a group of deals, but I didn't have a position tonight because I didn't know.
Well, Mr. McCarthy, as you all meeting in that, closed from 11 to 10, y'all discussed that, and did you discuss anything about this $100 extra an hour if you go over the time?
That was already in the contract.
What about the alcohol?
The alcohol, we passed that.
What we had?
These two things that I have said have not been to the committee. I bring them to the table to be considered by the committee.
Okay, well, you all are the committee, right?
We have a whole list of things, that's just two of them, right?
And so once you get them all done, you gonna bring them back to us then? Is that how?
Those recommendations will be brought back to the full body.
Even if we take another look.
Do we have all of the recommendations at this time?
No, we do not.
Okay, let's continue. Mr. Gilman.
One of the recommendations was to change the contract that we talked about in reference to the children, and directed the county in conjunction with what you were saying about the children. Only we're saying that they cannot exceed 11 o'clock because of the curfew. So we keep that, we want to keep that in mind, and let's pass that on to those parents and those individuals that want to have parties for their children, and they need to know that that at 11 o'clock is the curfew period. Now, if they're inside the building and their parents are picking them up, then that's no problem. But you do not let those children, if you will, do not let those children outside of the doors until somebody either picks them up and takes responsibility for them. Because after 11 o'clock, when they're subject to those curfews. The next thing that we had, I wanted to bring, once again, I hope that they consider the monitoring systems, and I had talked about that at one time before. And we asked that the monitoring system be considered very high. We looked at doing change orders for a building tonight. Then we also should look at the change orders that's needed for the monitoring system in order to be utilized by both the police and also the mayor and others that would be assigned to look over and to watch after this building. Another thing, another change that we must consider, and this is not a change, but if we're going to make rules and regulations, then those rules and regulations must be adhered to. Those rules and regulations cannot be foregone or cannot be changed in the middle of the stream. It is my understanding then that even in the contract, and the contract that we have, the contract that is in place presently, states, item K on the 4th, any misrepresentation by the renter will void the contract without recourse or refund. If there was a misrepresentation, if there was a violation or something that went on in this building, then that means that the individual that saw or caught that violation should be reported. If it was reported, then the renter, according to what it says here in bold writing, capital letters, then they should be dealt with accordingly. And that was not the case in the previous activity that we had. It was not dealt with accordingly because what we did, we actually overlooked the case and we penalized the individuals that found these violations and saw these violations take place.
Mr. Goodman, would you please make your recommendation?
I just did.
Okay. You finished?
No, I ain't finished, but I'll stop.
Well, it's up to you. You have the floor.
I'm finished.
Gil? Mr. Excuse me?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Ms. Johnson? Do you have a...
Can we set a committee meeting time and day? I really feel that it's very important for us to do this before Christmas. We need to do it and then come back and special meeting on time.
Did you give a date?
We can go tomorrow.
Let's just let her know. I have something to do at 6 tomorrow. I have to be in Monroe at 6 tomorrow. Wednesday afternoon.
That's fine.
I have a question, please. Yes, I have a question. Who all will be invited to this meeting? Who all is to attend this committee meeting?
Anyone desiring to come? We got to
Once again, that's what I'm saying. How can you have an open, if you're having an open meeting, and the open meeting law is in effect, then they can attend.
No, they cannot.
Well, yes, they can. Then you need to look at the law. The open meeting law advertised.
They want to adjourn meeting and have it where everybody can leave it.
No,
Well,
but
we can have three councilmen.
and in having an open meeting as such, then that means that we can ask representatives from our district to come that are not council people.
That's fine.
That's fine, okay.
You reworded it.
No, I'm not.
We just can't have three councilmen.
We're talking about two different things. I'm talking about a committee meeting,
I understand what you're talking about, man.
and you're talking about,
I'm talking about an open meeting that you had and you did not advertise.
Mr. John, why don't you get Red a day and just let them know all your concerns and let them present it?
You know,
I'm just saying,
I understand exactly what you're saying. This has happened before. I can show you the recommendations that were given to the council that was totally ignored. Now, do I give these recommendations and they take them under consideration?
give them to Kay and let Kay present them.
Those recommendations that you have, we've been going, compromise, they didn't go ignore it. We looked at them, we looked at every last one of them.
And why is it
We looked at everything that No, you didn't. Yeah, we did. You looked at them, but the profit, the one without a profit, that was represented on them. That was a lot of them that was there, and we compromised on them. We looked at every single one of them.
Not looking at all of it. If you didn't take them
Off the sheet of paper,
Off that sheet of paper.
We looked at, we looked
Okay,
at.
we're gonna move on.
Yeah, percentage is the same.
No problem. I'll do it again.
Yeah, and then every one of them we looked at and voted.
Yeah, okay.
What is your pleasure in reference to, the items that Mr. McCarthy has just introduced to us?
To table it until the committee is met. Make a motion.
We're gonna be
table all three
Wednesday.
recommendations to the committee meeting.
Okay,
Wednesday, 5,
what time?
5:15.
Ready to do that?
Okay. I see Ms. Mahone just walked in, item number 3. Concerning citizens' business.
Sorry that I was late. I have several engagements and I'm trying to, I had to tell them I had to come. This was my first one. I'll come in peace and I'm going to leave in peace. I've been hearing rumors about 4 or 5 months ago, and I didn't bother it. My husband told me just look over and don't say nothing in the past. But when I'm getting phone calls at my home, it's a problem. So I just want to let everybody know the truth. So I want nobody misread nothing that what I'm about to say. I'm going to tell you what the lies going around saying and the phone calls. And let me say this. I love my mother dearly. My mama can't tell me what to do. I love my husband, and I've been with him almost 27 years. He can't tell me what to do. I have a mind of my own. And the lies that's going out there, Mr. Wilhite, George Wilhite, Miss Alice Wallace, and Mayor Jackie Johnson, is the cause of me doing a recall against John Doe. That's a lie. They didn't have anything to do with that recall. And I know this ain't no political lie. I know what's going on. And other people know what's going on. But I want the record stated. The mayor never picked up the phone and called me to say do a recall against you, John Doe. Alice Wallace never picked the phone call and said Denise, Angela, or Andrew, whichever one you want to call. Do a recall. Officer George Wilhite did have picked the phone up and tell me to do a recall. I did it. My husband did it, but he just, because I'm his wife, and he just went along with me. I did it because the fights that were going on back here 4 years ago, Lester Thomas knew about it. He didn't do anything, but the former Sheriff Steve Pallett tried to do something about it. All the fights were going on up in your district. Councilman Mr. McCarthy knew about it because he was at my home one Sunday when one took place. Nobody did anything. And let me say this. You think the mayor can tell, Mayor Johnson can tell me what to do? I pressed charge against his son, and I didn't tell his son was the mayor's son. He came in my yard. And my boy can't free him, so it was a game. They call themselves within a lit game. So if I didn't have no, because the mayor's son, how do you figure that I would listen to what the mayor has to tell me? That's the lie that's going on. And it's a lie, it's political, and it ain't going to work because everybody that knows the news.
That's good, thank you.
If you say so, like I say, Mayor, I came in peace, and I'm going to leave in peace. Because I have other engagements that I have to do here. You have a good night.
Item number 9. That's the one. I'm sorry. Item number 8. Personnel issues. Letters to mayor. Gentlemen.
In addition to that, it also says, and I'd like to take the last first, since we're in the process of skipping things tonight. It also talks about the, two main officers' overtime pay. Has that been taken into consideration?
Mr. Chairman, would you consider going into executive session to
I consider anything that you feel is worthy of making a wise decision.
I think it would be a wise decision to go
Let's
into.
go and do it.
I need a motion.
Move that we go into
Would y'all rather do it at the end?
I tell you, I don't see any reason to go into executive meeting. Even though it may be wise from the standpoint of not calling anybody's name, but all the questions that I'm asking is, has this been taken under consideration, and is it a favorable idea that the individual be considered for overtime pay? I don't see where an executive session would be called. You know, all I need is a yes or a no, or a standard answer.
Excuse me. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? A second. And we probably moved in second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Would you all please excuse the room?
Last month's meeting, we agreed to table this item before we could come up with the mayor, council. I had to come up with an option between the base bid and alternate 1 and alternate 2 for Bogus. So we can go ahead and give them a resolution. We do the airport lighting project at the airport. Yes, sir. I don't know if everybody still got it. They had a copy of this thing. It was a copy of the base bid and the option.
You know, I didn't say you're 1, 2, 3.
Okay. The base bid will cost the city no funds. You go to option 1, get the base bid, it costs us no money, no funds.
Right.
The base bid for option number 1, the city matches is $22,000. Or $22,259.25. Option 3, base bid plus option 1 and option 2, the city match will be $55,881.75.
And that number 3 was just basically a generator, a $30,000 generator
Yes, sir.
is what that equated to.
More than 51. Option 1.
Base bid, it would be no cost to the city, no city funds. It would be install the generator and replace the air field light. Number 2, install the generator and replace the air field light from the base bid and rehabilitate the air field bid.
Okay. Okay. Welcome recommendation.
His recommendation was the first one, was base bid. Well, but then I think Skipper said we needed to work with the beacon or something. And that's how we were changing that up.
Wasn't the beacon part of number 2?
Yeah. Base bid 2 was replace the airfield lighting and rehabilitate the airfield beacon.
What is your pleasure?
So that you can believe it,
Yeah, they need to be fixed up where there would have to be put on the.
I recommend we go with base bid number 2.
This is approximately moved that we go with base bid number 2. And second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record reflect that it was unanimously approved. Item number 10, Maya Martin.
Brevity, I just run through a couple of items real quick for y'all. First off was the TEP project, the Adams Common Street, Mr. Billy's been working on, Mr. Billy, Mr. Taggart, working on securing the easements for those properties, the remaining properties, and I believe they've done that. So, we're ready to move forward now with, to complete the preliminary design phase on that project, which we'll hope to have, in the next couple of months. The other item is funds will be released on the 8th Street Bike Trail through the Office of State Parks. So we are clear to begin work on that as well. Of course, we were already doing so anyway, but, the funds have been released. Do y'all have any questions on those two projects or any other ones? All right, okay.
Keith, I want to thank you for patiently bearing with us this evening.
That's all right, that's what we're for.
All right, thank you. Item number 11, Recreation Director's Report.
Short, sweet, to the point. We finished up our soccer league. It was a huge success. Can't wait for next year to get even bigger. We finished Pee Wee basketball at the high school and junior highs. I have a project I'm working on now to work towards a little bitty Pee Wee basketball with the elementary school, and that's underway. And but the junior high, that one was, the junior high part is over with, and it was good. We had a low attendance. We only had 26 to start out with our first year. We'll get better next year. And so right now, the only thing we're going to work on is the first of the year, getting fit for the public and doing our walking program that we're going to hopefully quickly implement once the weather kind of bears with us a little bit. And that's all I got.
Make a motion, we accept that athletic director's report.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. All in favor, say aye. Item number 12, Public Works.
Well, I think covered, one of the bigger part of mine was the City Hall. I think we covered everything on that. The crew's got all the decorating ready, made it look really good, had a good tree lighting service. We get to have a parade. The guys got it done a really good job.
And I even had one car already.
That's right. And we're working on end of the year stuff. We have stuff final, with that final outcome at the end of 2013, and we're working on taking care of that, getting food, vacations over with, and all that. So back on the line.
Can I interject something right here?
Yes,
Tommy Potter's mother died today.
that's correct.
She did. I'll remember her, remember that family, and I pray, God, I was talking to him when she died. That was the weirdest thing that ever happened. It was just like I was there. Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No problem. A lot about things we got, I don't know if you got council all aware, we got fire hydrants installed at one for the road.
Yay, we did that.
And mayor, the council, that's about all we have right here right now. Thank you, Tiffany.
I move that we accept. Man,
It's been properly moved that we accept and second. All in favor, say aye. Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Humane officer report.
Number dogs are adopted for the month, 1, 80 for the year, 0 cat, 13 for the year. Claims, 0, 23 for the year, 0 cat, 1 for the year. Faucets, 10 faucets for the month, 29 for the year, 0 cat for the month, 18 for the year. Taking the Monroe, 0, 2 for the year, 0 for the cat. That in 10, 1 dog. Escape, 1 for the year. Cat, 3. Total new dog, 5, 1 cat. Total new dog, brother. Total new handler for the month, 34, 1 cat. In the pen, 23 dogs, 1 cat. Year to date, 159 dogs, 36 cats.
In the pen right now, 24 animals. Miscellaneous, 2. Food donated.
You heard the mayor officer's report.
What was the miscellaneous this time?
Sponsor and approval.
All right. Move to accept.
Properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye. Fire chief, monthly report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We had one private dwelling this month, total 29, total, we have one mobile home, total 3. There's, 0 vehicles for a year total of 20. We had, 3 glass bars out of town for a total of 62. We had 0 rescues for a total of 25. We had 1 apartment, a total of 1. We had a nursing home, I think that was going to be in the home. We had 1 business in town for a total of 2. We had 2 helicopter assists for a total of 18. We had 0 fire alarms for a total of 36. We had 24 service calls, 24 mutual aid calls. Right now, we're still at 366 on the smoke alarm. The reason being is because I was kind of sick, and the man that handles them in Baton Rouge is taking off for a week or so. But just shortly, we will be getting another new batch in and starting to reinstall those. 2 fireworks standby for the year, 5 false alarms, 1 more miscellaneous for a total of 4 fires in town this month, 3 out of town for a total of 263. And we've had some fire truck repairs. We had brakes fixed on number 9, and we're currently working on trying to get stuff ready for the rain testing hoses. We've already completed the hydrant last month or so, but everything's looking pretty good at this time.
Move to accept the report as written.
Okay, one question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
How we coming without whole testing?
Well, next November Day, we should be seeing the next couple of days.
How are we looking so far?
We've had some that we've, that failed the test, but we're still in good shape with them. However, we're going to have to buy that, a big hose, and we're going to have some tarpaulins. I've been waiting on buying the tarpaulins for the salvage covers, till the end of the year, because, I just want to make sure that it's all still there when it comes time to meeting. There may actually be, there are some stuff we can substitute, and we'll look at the book and see if it is, we'll try to get it out as long as we still think the same amount of time.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. You're welcome.
What is your pleasure?
Make a motion to accept the file.
Should probably move to accept and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, if you have that same, let the record reflect that it's unanimous. Police chief monthly report.
Police Department monthly report from November 18th to December 15th, 2013. On our criminal charges, we had 20 arrests for the month. Year to date, 608. On the traffic side, we wrote 29 traffic citations. Year to date, 359. We worked 11 highway accidents, followed by 5 on parking lot, 631 calls. Thus far, the Christmas holiday has been a state. Christmas Thanksgiving holiday has been a state holiday. Thus far, even with the biggest holiday we had was Black Friday, and we had no incidents happen there.
Thank you, Chief.
Make the motion we accept fire chief's report. Not the fire chief, but police chief.
Properly moved that we accept the police chief monthly report and the correct second. And second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Economic and Development Report.
Thank you, Mayor. City Council members, we've made a lot of progress. This past month, we've been working very diligently on trying to resolve the situation for tire and rubber. They are paid up today, through December. And we have, as you know, passed, and given the mayor the authority to go ahead and enter into a new contract for 4 years. We have been working, as Heath has said, with Tab and myself, on the Adams Street project, getting the easement out there. We do have the LGAP grant has been submitted. You all have a copy of it in front of you for $87,000 some dollars. And if you have any questions about that, the only thing that I want to make very clear to each and every one of them is that is a reimbursement program, and it always has been, and as far as I know, it always will be. Out of this $87,000 out-of-pocket expense, it's going to be $5,000. Let me bring you up to date on that. All the signs will be paid that we have. We have 1,059 signs in the city of Wilmington. They all will be replaced under this project. We do have the support from our senator and representative, and when that happens, normally it just goes straight on through. We should have the funding for this by January, by the end of January, so we can start on the project. Also, on that, included in that was not enough money to offset the $50,000 that we received. So we worked on a fire truck. We have a fire truck in this project. The fire truck cost was $25,000. Of the total project, $87,000. We will have $5,000 out of pocket money that will have to come from the city council or the city to match this. We have a $39,000 and some odd in-kind services that is in the project itself, and that is going to be the installation of the signs for the city. Again, all of this will be approved by the city council once it is there to make sure that it is all in order and it's spent the way you want it spent once it is approved by the state. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Billy. What is your pleasure?
Move to accept.
Properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Community Center monthly report. Do you have a monthly report from Community Center?
I don't have, I didn't do any of the bookings for November, so I have no knowledge of what went on for the previous.
Can I say something? I'm Bobby Rose. And November 22nd, my sister held some here, and it was all ruled in favor for the mayor had ruled that she could have it. But Ms. Cup, she tried to sabotage that.
Let's talk about this a little later.
Okay.
Do you have anything in December?
I can give you one for December. There have been, it was just,
Do we have any information on last month's community center report?
There was $1,500 collected according to the profit and loss statement of some other.
Okay.
Yeah, the community center rental had, it looks like what 2 events, 3 events. 1, 2, 3. That successfully got their refund. Victory Temple got a refund, and then Lakeisha Dorsey got a refund. So we had a profit of $1,500 according to our money.
That may be our best,
Last 2 months. That's the first time we've shown that large profit. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Good job. Good job.
what is your pleasure?
I'm on the way of just send a month to the court.
And second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Monthly financial report.
Our target for this month is 41.65%. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer some of these questions. We did not transfer any money this month from, okay.
I noticed that.
So we should be expecting Christmas shopping and all that to show up on next month's report.
Correct. Correct. When you think about what I was doing at Walmart, our taxes are going to go up.
I'm looking at under the community center rental, what we have to return a payment of $100. Why was that?
If I remember correctly, that was for the extra hour. Let me look on, Ms. Dorsey.
I can tell them when it's hard.
That was for that extra hour, right?
They booked the party till 2 p.m., 2 a.m. and paid for that extra hour. And for several reasons, I felt like we needed to shut it down at 1 because I was going by the contract and it was being broken. So when we shut it down at 1, from 1 to 2, we were reimbursed $100 to her because she didn't have it for that hour.
And that's in addition to her
Yeah, that was the extra
regular
hour.
deposit rate. I make a motion to accept the finance report.
Been properly moved and second, all in favor, say aye. Let the record reflect that it's unanimously approved. Again, this month, we do not have a report from the municipal airport manager. Rick, do you have anything you'd like to bring forth? John, do you have anything you'd like to bring forth? Craig, do you have anything? Kate? Betty?
Move
Then
to
I'll,
adjourn.
I'll accept the motion. Then probably move in second that we adjourn.